Joe is an incredible mensch. He has a good heart, he's incredibly kind-hearted, and he does all these things that you often don't know about.
The one thing that saved this country is its robust media. And I think that Joe's played an enormous role in ensuring that media is robust. He's got very high standards of journalism.
I think we were on a Christmas party, and he said to us, here in this office, you're working for the public. You're not working for yourself. So the thing, it really touched me and made me to think, to say, you know what, Millicent, you're not doing this for you, actually.
But he's one of the most honest people I've ever dealt with in my life. He's direct. He would tell you exactly what he believed, and you either take it or you don't.
I think he has a very strong sense of justice. I think he has a great deal of courage, and at the same time he is humble in a way that allows him to connect to other people. So not humble in a way that kind of is retiring. It's just a really deep river of humanity that lets him connect with people.
He's very firm, very ethical, involved, I think, in probably almost all of the democratic media institutions that have been set up. He's a gentle giant, but not to be underestimated.
So Joe is the most fantastic guy who's lived an unbelievable life, actually. And I mean, if you think that at the age of 17, in 1959, he was one of the founders of the PAC. He was an Africanist. He then was at Sharpeville, and at the age of 18 was at Sharpeville. At the age of 20, he was the first ever black reporter on the Rand Daily Mail.
One of the things that actually people used to say at the time, especially black journalists, was that they used to look at the newsroom as just another scene of struggle. That black journalists were black first before they were journalists. Joe has actually been was a living embodiment of that ethos. He became an activist before he became a journalist. He became a journalist because he was an activist. And I think since we became a free country, he's actually kind of moved from being an activist in the political sense in actually concentrating on media freedom.
When I started out in journalism and he was already something of a senior, that was in 1980 or 1981. He was a major figure, a senior journalist, a union leader, and a major figurehead, even though for a significant portion of the time he was banned or restricted. He remained a significant figure.
I remember we were driving from Johannesburg to Durban for a Moasa council meeting. They took us to their security police offices, they opened them, and as they switched on the lights, one of the black policemen in the group saw Joe and said, Joe, you're still busy with your nonsense. Now this was a policeman who had been part of a team that had tortured and interrogated Joe together with a number of PAC people. But Joe just said to him, what nonsense? He said, no, man. We thought when we let you go, you're going to stop this. And he just said, I don't know what you're talking about.
I respected him as a journalist of some quality, considerable quality, and who did his job thoroughly. And he was passionate about press freedom. Absolutely passionate, and believed that it was the cornerstone of democracy and absolutely essential in a country which was striving to be a democracy.
I took over from Joe in 1998 as the executive director of SANAF. I kind of got to know Joe really during the hearings on racism, which was conducted by the South African Human Rights Commission. because Joe was one of the kind of many voices of reason during that time, providing quite a lot of guidance for SANAF on how to respond to during those hearings.
I would say that after the change and during the transition, many journalists who had opposed apartheid were, I think, bending over backwards to accommodate the new order because they had particular sympathies and because they had been involved in bringing it about. And some compromised principles of media freedom and media independence in that period, but Joe was notable for standing by the same principles that applied under the old order and that should apply to the new order. And that wasn't always an easy and comfortable position.
I've worked with Joe for over 10 years and it has been an amazing experience.
I think my biggest takeaway from working with Joe is from the very many meetings that we've sat in together. Often people get very emotional about press issues, about press freedom particularly, and you'll find that one person who's sitting at the head of the table, who's quiet, who looks at you with a nondescript look, no emotion whatsoever, and suddenly he will speak and he will offer up the solution to all of our problems.
I recall witnessing him standing up and being quite forthright about in the way that he challenged people. But it's never been in a disrespectful way or in a way that would alienate people. So I think that when you are courageous and you do stand up for what's right, you almost inevitably alienate people. It can be a very lonely path. You can't ever expect people to go with you.
I send him my warm good wishes for a very happy future, away from the hustle and bustle of the Press Council.
I think Joe must travel, he must read, and he must write those memoirs.
I can confirm that he is threatened to do that. In fact, he said he's pretty close to completing it. So I'm certainly looking forward to that. It'll be a great book.
One day when I die and my life flashes before me, I'll be glad that someone like Joe was among the people who enriched my life.
I'm not a person of many words, but I just love him and I wish him well.
Joe, I have known you for a long time. And over all that time, I have learned a great deal from watching you as a journalist, a leader, a principled leader, a courageous man, and a great role model.
Joe, I do hope our friendship will last forever.
Babu Joe, ngizothi ube nonolo lude ngendlela obusiphethe ngayo nala uyosebenza khona bayothola ukuthi bathola umuntu ebantwini abatholanga umuntu nje kuphela uyazi ukuzithoba kwakho nako konke obusenzela khona mhlambe naphambili la uya khona uzokwenza lokho.